Very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Charlotte Benedict. Some important events in Sri Lanka's political sphere. The same can be said for the international political arena, with tensions between India and Pakistan reaching new heights. We've got the details of these stories and more lined up for you on our news tonight. But first, a look at your headlines.
Nuwan Zoysa says he was forcibly taken away by the ICC anti-corruption unit. Tear gas and water cannons greet protesting teachers' unions who broke into Isurupaya. Asset declarations of 5 MPs made public. Paving a way for future leaders, a program centered around the village, temple, school and police stations begins in Gampaha. Imran Khan prepares for talks with Modi, captured Indian pilot to be released as a gesture of goodwill.
Starting off with your top story tonight, former Sri Lankan Test cricketer Nuwan Zoysa claims personnel attached to the ICC anti-corruption unit forcefully took him away for questioning. Now speaking to reporters today, Zoysa had this to say.
There is one thing that I must say. I reject all allegations made against me. The only thing I am at fault for is that I did not inform cricket authorities of attempts made by an Indian national to approach me at the request of the Sri Lankan coach. But now I have been given a lengthy statement on it by the ICC. I was not involved in any of these corrupt activities. I did not betray the sport of cricket. I did not earn a cent through corruption in the sport of cricket. I have 2 children who are pursuing their education. I am taking care of all of them, and now my employment has been suspended. I must say something about the ICC. On the 2nd of October, while I was working at the Kettarame High Performance Centre, 2 white men calling themselves representatives of the ICC forcibly took me to the Cinnamon Grand Hotel. Before taking me there without my consent, they confiscated both my phones. When I was speaking to my wife at the time, they didn't allow me to speak in Sinhala. They forced me to speak in English. They took me to the hotel, set up a camera and started to question me. They did not allow me to obtain the services of a translator or a lawyer. They made me uncomfortable by asking the same question over and over again. I was severely mentally affected. Most of the time I didn't clearly understand the questions they asked me in English. I did not understand their pronunciation very well. I had to go with them because they continuously threatened me that I will lose my job if I did not cooperate. They told me that this questioning was confidential. But now, Sri Lanka Cricket has suspended my employment.
A protest staged by several teachers' guilds opposite the Ministry of Education was dispersed by the police using tear gas and water cannons. Now, the protest was organized by trade unions of the education sector headed by the Ceylon Teacher Services Union and few other unions over irregularities in salaries of principals and teachers.
The police used water cannons to stop the protesters from barricading the entrance to the Ministry of Education and entering the premises. The protesters then blocked the road opposite the ministry, demanding that the problems need to be heard directly by a secretary of the Ministry of Education. Tear gas was fired when the protesters tried to enter the ministry again through the front entrance. A person who was injured in the incident was admitted to hospital. We saw how rulers answered. Akila Viraj has placed his goons inside this. Those goons attacked us. The police, which belongs to the government, also attacked us with tear gas and water cannons. Blood of our comrades was spilled. This is not the end. We will stage a bigger demonstration on the 13th.
During a press briefing held at the party headquarters today, leader of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna MP Andrew Kumara Dissanayake made the following request.
It was
Ranil Wickremesinghe who appointed Arjuna Mahendran as the governor of the central bank. Ranil Wickremesinghe also intervened to protect him and send him out of the country. Following his release from prison, photographs reveal Aloysius present at the wedding of Mahinda Rajapaksa's son. It is clear that the central bank bond scam is a transaction connected and spread across many ends. No opposition is raised against the bond scam from Mahinda Rajapaksa or his groups, as they are also shareholders in this fraud, who provided the licenses to perpetual treasuries. With whom did Arjuna Aloysius trade in the share market? These are very important facts. What was the relationship between perpetual treasuries and the relatives of the former central bank governor? What were they employed? Where were they employed? The Bond Commission report includes all of this information. Such bond transactions have been spread among these groups for a long time. Therefore, both parties are trying to cover this up. This is why the President is not revealing the complete Bond Commission report in Parliament. The Bond Commission report was fully prepared with public funds. Under the Right to Information Act, several groups have requested for the Bond Commission report. However, the President is yet to reveal the complete report. After MP Dayasri Jayasekara took his money, he stated that there are 118 names. Some time ago, journalists used to question every MP over the bond scam. However, such questions are no longer raised. So it is clear that the central bank bond scam is a transaction connected and spread across many groups.
On
the same subject now, Minister Nuwan Dissanayake answered several questions raised by journalists regarding the central bank bond scam.
Thieves will be caught at a certain point. You cannot roam around freely once you commit a theft. Whichever government is in power, nature itself will make sure they are punished.
Now, in a breath of fresh air for the Sri Lankan political sphere and a show of some integrity among our political leaders, 5 members of parliament from across party lines came together today to publish their declarations of assets and liabilities in the public domain.
Parliamentarians Thalaka Balasurya, Vasudeva Nanayakara, M.A. Sumantiran, Vidura Wickramanayake and State Minister Eran Wickramaratne came forward to take this step towards changing the political culture of the country. The asset and liability declarations of these MPs can be accessed at the website www.tisrilanka.org/MP assets. Transparency International Sri Lanka has campaigned for years to publish this information in the public domain.
Today, the group of MPs who are coming forward to unilaterally disclose their assets to the public are doing so to show that this information is in the public interest and should be available to the public. And we encourage other members of parliament to also follow suit and do so.
Members of the political authorities and MPs as well as cabinet ministers have a responsibility to the people. They have to show the general public that any increase in their assets are justifiable and the people should be able to witness it. If the voluntary acts we perform today becomes an example for the rest of the country, we are happy about that. I have raised this question many times in Parliament. If we are talking about corruption, why don't we release our declarations of assets and liabilities and subject them for assessment? And if there is any corruption involved, action can be taken. That is where we should start to put a stop to corruption in the country. Why is this not being done? News First commends the steps taken by this group of MPs to improve transparency and accountability in the island, and we hope that other public representatives will also follow this example.
Let's now take a look at some news from ongoing court proceedings.
The decision with regard to an appeal filed with the court on a case filed by the Bribery Commission against former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa concerning the Avantgarde transaction will be delivered on the 14th of June by the Court of Appeal. Justices Achala Vengappuli and Arjunobe Sekara, who concluded the examination of the appeal, said the interim injunction would be extended to the 14th of June until a decision is reached. Earlier, Gotabaya Rajapaksa filed an appeal against the case filed with the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court, and considering the appeal filed by Rajapaksa, the Court of Appeal issued the injunction to suspend the lower court's proceedings with the case. The recording of evidence in the case filed against the owner of Avantgarde Maritime Services Private Limited and retired Major General Palitha Fernando over the Avantgarde transaction was postponed to the 21st of May by the Colombo High Court Judge Sashi Mahendran. The recording of evidence in the case was to take place today. The High Court judge decided to postpone the case, taking into account a request made citing that Senior State Counsel Janaka Bandara, who is leading the prosecution, was appearing before the Supreme Court for a special case. The Attorney General informed the Supreme Court today that the Criminal Investigations Department is preparing to file charges against former Navy Commander Admiral Vasantha Karanagoda. Additional Solicitor General Viraj Dayaratna, appearing for the Attorney General, said the investigations pertaining to the abduction and forced disappearance of 11 youth from Colombo using white vans in 2008 is almost complete. The Supreme Court today postponed the hearing into the fundamental rights petition filed by former Navy Commander Vasantha Karanagoda against moves to arrest him till the 7th of March, as Justice Priyantha Jayawardena recused himself from the bench appointed to take up the petition, citing personal reasons. Deputy Solicitor General Dilan Ratnayakar informed the Colombo Additional Magistrate that extensive investigations are underway to uncover the mastermind behind the Wasim Tajuddin assassination. He added that investigations are taking place to determine the relationships maintained by the suspects in the case, former DIG Andrasena Nayaka, IP Sumit Dhammika Pereira, and former Colombo JMO Professor Ananda Samarasekara, with the mastermind of the assassination. Though the mastermind has not yet been identified, steps have been taken to call for a government analyst's report on 4 suspicious vehicles that had left Temple Trees on the day of the assassination. In addition, a government analyst's report has also been called in on the biological samples recovered from the vehicle that is said to have been in pursuit of Tajuddin's car on the day of the murder. The Deputy Solicitor General further said, based on the evidence recovered, steps will be taken to file charges against all 3 suspects. The prosecution ordered to submit a progress report to court on the 27th of June.
Dematagoda Nuwan, a member of an organized criminal group, was arrested along with 7 others after the police special task force raided the suspect's house in Veluwana in Dematagoda this evening.
A Pakistani couple was also arrested along with the group. Police media spokesperson SP Ron Gunasekara said the police special task force seized 2 pistols, an air rifle, 50 bullets, 3 swords, 2 cash counting machines, 3 luxury vehicles and 4 grams of heroin. He said Dematagoda Nuwan is the brother of Dematagoda Chaminda, who is also a notorious gang leader. The heroin, which was seized at Kaburupola Kuliapetia, was part of a drug ring coordinated by Suranga Seneviratna, a drug smuggler currently in prison. Police said the suspect who was arrested is his chief accomplice. He was arrested last night while smuggling 1 kilogram of heroin on his motorbike. 9 kilograms of heroin valued at 120 million rupees was also seized by the police after they searched the arrested suspect's house. The operator of the drug ring is already imprisoned for the possession of 1.5 kilograms of heroin and 100 grams of the drug ice.
Now, 4 members of the committee to initiate action to transform state media institutions to public broadcasting services have resigned from their respective positions.
On the 31st of January this year, Minister Mangala Samaravira appointed a committee to initiate action to transform state media institutions to public broadcasting and television services. Vijayananda Jayavira was appointed as the chairman of this committee, while Dr. Pradeep Veerasinghe, Nalaka Gunawardena, Kaushalya Fernando, Professor Jayadeva Uyangoda, Anoma Rajakaruna and Attorney-at-Law Sudarshana Gunawardena were appointed as committee members. However, Professor Jayadeva Uyangoda, Attorney-at-Law Sudarshana Gunawardena, Anoma Rajakaruna and Kaushalya Fernando have tendered their resignations from this committee to the Secretary of the Ministry of Media. Accordingly, the committee now consists of Vijayananda Jayavira, Dr. Pradeep Veerasinghe and Nalaka Gunawardhana. It was these three individuals who initiated the drafting of a document titled Independent Council for News Media Standards Act that proposes the introduction of law to penalize and fine media personnel and institutions. The respective document mentions the name of Vijayananda Jayavira as its draftman. At present, MP Nuwan Vijayawardena serves as the non-cabinet minister of mass media, while a Gazette notification issued last Tuesday confirmed that all state media comes under his purview. Whilst claiming to be attempting to transform state media institutions into public broadcasting services, what are the ulterior motives of the NGO agents? Non-cabinet minister of mass media, this is over to you.
While 8 years have lapsed since construction began on the new military headquarters complex in Akuregoda Battaramulla, work on the complex is yet to be completed.
The construction of the new Security Forces headquarters commenced in 2011. After the land housing the Army headquarters was given away for the Shangri-La and ICT hotel projects, former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa took steps to re-establish the Security Forces headquarters in Battaramulla. The land for these hotel projects was given away on the promise of allocating funds for the construction of the headquarters complex in Akuregoda. The project commenced with the establishment of a separate bank account under the then Ministry of Defence and Urban Development, in which 19 billion rupees had been deposited following cabinet approval. Funds were disbursed from this account subject to the direct supervision of a committee headed by an additional secretary of the Defence Ministry. Construction on this complex, which would serve as the headquarters for the bulk of the nation's security apparatus, including the Defence Ministry itself, was undertaken with expertise from military engineers. However, with the change in government in 2015, the bank account, which had a balance of 8 billion rupees, was taken over by the Treasury. According to a 2017 report from the Defence Ministry, by that time, only 40% of the construction on Phase 1 of the complex had been completed. Whilst it was revealed that Phase 1 of the complex is to be declared open in April this year, it appears that work is progressing slowly. The 2017 report from the Defence Ministry cites problems in the tender process as the cause for delays in the project. However, as a result of the delay, certain divisions of the Army headquarters are now operating out of rented properties. In 2017, the Defence Ministry spent 77,875 million rupees as rental costs, including for properties housing divisions of the Army headquarters. Continued delays in completing work on the Security Forces headquarters complex translates into the continued burdening of the already strained financial resources of the country. The plan to use lands with commercial value in Colombo for commercial developments and to move government offices to the administrative capital of Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte commenced in 1979 under President J.R. Jayawardena. Following the end of the war in 2009, several projects were undertaken as an extension of this policy. Nevertheless, as a result of delays caused by primary plans being changed along with changes in government, isn't it the people that continue to be burdened with additional expenses?
A series of interactive workshops carried out by Newsfirst with the objective of moulding future leaders commenced today at the Naivala Marapula College in Gampaha. The program was based on the theme Village, School, Temple and Police.
The program aims to build a united, disciplined and spiritual future generation. The Marapula College, located in the Minuangod Educational Zone in Gampaha, was the first school selected for this program. Students of the college and other surrounding schools attended the workshop. Teachers, parents and past pupils were among those who participated. Vennawatte Ratanajoti Thera, DIG in charge of the Western Province North, Deshabandhu Tennakon and renowned senior artist Satish Chandra Edirisinghe spoke to the students about topics that are of importance to mould future leaders. Vasanta Pradeep Masinghage, manager of Newsfirst, also spoke to the students about future career building. The students engaged in several interactive sessions. The Sri Lanka College of Pediatricians also sent 2 of their representatives to inform the students about health-related matters.
The event was held at the Bandaranaike Memorial International Conference Hall. Several dignitaries, including President Maithripala Sirisena, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, former President Chandrika Bandaranaike, politicians and ambassadors were present at the event. The keynote address was delivered by the former ambassador of the US to the United Nations, Samantha Powers. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj also sent him well wishes for this event.
He is more than a mere politician. He's a very friendly and approachable person. You are talented, you're a very dedicated person. You can win anyone over. Your talents, your capabilities and your level of maturity is needed in this country. He was vocal in his criticism against me. He has very strong morals. The theme of this event is daring to dream. What is this dream? I believe that one's dream and objective should be the same. How can that be done? How are we going to take Sri Lanka towards its golden era? This is the challenge.
But if there's one person who could get me to travel over 8,000 miles at this moment, it is Mangala. My country and your country are facing turbulent times. The last time I was here, I would never have guessed that an American president would attack the judiciary, the press, women, minorities, diplomats, intelligence professionals, law enforcement officers, and many of our closest allies.
Now, there was a ceremony that was held this afternoon to commemorate the completion of 30 years of Minister Mangala Samaravira's political career. The event was titled 30 Years of Daring to Dream.
The event was held at BMICH in Colombo. Dignitaries including President Maithripala Sirisena, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Opposition Leader Mahinda Rajapaksa, government and opposition MPs and religious leaders graced the occasion.
He is an individual who has won over many people. Imagine the experience he has gained in this 40 years journey. Imagine how much he can speak about these experiences. Imagine how happy he is with the public service he has carried out in this time. When considering all of this, I can say that when it comes to the political field, he has fulfilled everything.
He is working in line with the principle. There is a principle in the UNP. That is why this party has been protected. Whether it is our party or another party, I hope that he will be taken as an example. The President and Prime Minister also presented tokens of appreciation to Minister John Amaratunga. I am satisfied that I have fulfilled my duties. I have been able to work under 5 presidents. I say even today that this country is yet to get another leader like President J.R. Jayawardena. He was a unique and excellent president. We are still enjoying the benefits of his action. Being close to the people is the main task. This is what the people hope for. When I started in politics, we had a true party policies. There was a leader and there was limitless faith in the leader. No MP or party supporter ever went against that leadership. In modern politics, we have a party constitution and we are working in line with that. The major challenge we are facing now is winning the next presidential election.
That was the event organized in celebration of 40 years of the political career of Minister of Tourism, Development, Wildlife and Christian Religious Affairs, John Amaratunga. The event was held, of course, as you saw, under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
Platinum Awards 2018.
My favorite sportswoman is Alison Felix, and that is because she has achieved so much in life. I'm ready to be victorious too. 400 meters is my favorite event. My aim is to run faster than everyone else and win. My other target is to win the Platinum Awards. I am Nirmali Madhishika.
Mama Nirmali Madhishika.
Sports First Allianz Platinum Awards 2018.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for today. Of course, to follow details of these stories and more, you can log on to our award-winning website, www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Charlene Benedict for the Newsfirst team. Take care and good night.